Live shopping isn't just a trend, it's the retail revolution, and Spree is leading the way. We're here to show businesses the magic of using video and social media to skyrocket sales and expand their audience. At Spree, we're all about making your sales savvy and your connections rock solid. So let's dive in and make your retail dreams come true.
Hello and welcome, folks.
Hello! Welcome everyone.
So nice to be back. So my name is Jens and I'm one of the co-hosts today. I'm a live shopping specialist here at Spree, and joining me as always is...
Corey Morris. I have the pleasure of not only sitting alongside this guy, but also being the Chief Marketing Officer here at Spree. And I'm really excited to be here today, Jens.
As am I, and you know, I feel like it's been a while since we were last in the studio like this, so it's good to be back.
It has been a while, but we've been out doing some fun and exciting things, talking to some really exciting people, so I'm happy to be back here.
Yeah, and I'm excited because today we have a banger, don't we? If I may be so bold to say so, because, you know, I've been excited for this webinar, and we're going to get into that because we have very special guests joining us, so yeah.
I think banger is a very good word. It is indeed a banger of an episode, and I've been really excited to be on this webinar as well, because obviously we haven't been here for some time. But I'm equally excited to have all of you folks joining us today. And because, as you all know, we're here to talk about live shopping and how it works for home goods.
Home goods. And, you know, I'm very pleased to be talking about the special guests we have today, as mentioned, because I almost think they need no introduction, because a lot of people will know them by the familiar name Søstrene Grene.
I hope so. Søstrene Grene.
Yeah, it's a very Danish
Which
name.
we're able to say because we speak Danish.
And I think...
What does it mean in... so Søstrene Grene, tell us what that means for the non-Danish speakers.
Yeah, I think if you had to translate it, it would be something like the Sisters Green.
I would say the Green Sisters.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say the Sisters Green. That
sounds archaic.
It's very archaic.
I'm from a different century. That's why.
Yeah. So just we're just like this is like welcome to the Danish podcast, ladies and gentlemen. No. So it's basically the last name is Grene, or it could be Green, and it's the sisters. So you could say the Green Sisters. But anyway.
Yeah.
But when you say it in English, though, it just does not sound right in my ears. I guess I've been in Denmark too long. But anyway, now you guys know.
Yeah, so this webinar, it's going to take a wide lens look at home goods.
Yep.
And we're going to look at how this whole category of home goods, which covers a wide spectrum of different products and
our chat with Søstrene Grene, I think, is really going to help kind of anchor that conversation that we're going to have in a concrete case when we get to that. Because one of the things we've learned after doing these webinars is like, people love hearing you and I talk about this stuff, but it's so easier for them to grasp and understand if we're able to talk to a real customer. So that's what we're doing today. We are, after all, listening to people. So
yeah, I think that's where a lot of value can be had in looking at concrete, real cases where we can see the success stories of...
But Jens, before we get too far into this, let's do some housekeeping.
Okay.
I'm adding sound effects.
Good. We don't need to see.
This is not me though. This is actually
tactical effects.
Wouldn't that be awesome if I could do that with my mouth though?
I wish I could.
Like, no, that's not me. This is a bell. But the other one.
Yes.
That was me.
And to housekeeping, we just want to let you guys know that you always welcome to drop your questions in the chat throughout the webinar. If there's anything you're wondering about, we'll get to those questions. And then secondly, I also want to know. We want to know. Where are you guys
watching from?
Yeah, do you have a Søstrene Grene in your country? We're curious to know.
Very likely. That company's like putting up 100 stores every week, it seems like. Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah. Now, let's go a bit wide, as you suggested earlier, Corey, because I first want to understand what we mean when we say home goods, because it can be a bit of a nebulous term, but when we say that and we relate it to the subject of live shopping, what is it we mean?
So, let's do it. Let's light this candle, all right? So, first, it's really interesting to talk about home goods, right? Because it covers such a broad range of items. So, just so we know, when we say home goods, folks, that's everything from home decor to kitchenware to garden tools to anything that you're having in your bedrooms, so on and so forth. It's a category that we feel that allows for, I call like a very diverse field of goods and services to kind of thrive within live shopping. But how do they do that though? I think that's the most important thing, and that's what we really want to try to dig into.
I want to chime in here because the overall context of home goods, it's what we want to shed a light on when we talk about home goods and live shopping, because like we mentioned, it's very broad, but it helps to understand what types of products is it we're talking about, and how does it actually transfer to this live format. So in one of the largest studies that was...
I was going to ask if you were going to bring up the McKinsey study.
Yeah. I mean, we cite this often because it was a massive study that was done by McKinsey in 2022, sorry. And, they looked into the buying patterns and habits of consumers who were repeat customers in live shopping shows. And what's interesting that they saw around home goods is that any product, and this is like a diverse category, right? So any product that tends to have a broader catalog, so there's a lot of diversity in those products, they would see that customers would purchase repeatedly throughout each live show.
Yeah, they're able to sell multiple products per customer per live show.
Yes. Because, when you have a very broad assortment of goods, and you're able to showcase that live, it'll trigger something in customers' minds, I think, where they're like, okay, I may not have been specifically looking for that, but the way they presented that was really good. Let me grab one of those. I think that's kind of a bit of the psychology that's being shown in those statistics.
And the thing is, you typically have customers leaving your live show with a bigger basket when your product catalog is varied and interesting. As it tends to be with home goods, right? And that aligns very much with how we've seen our customers operate, succeed in home goods. It tends to sell in high volumes, and it's also reflected by the case story that I keep foreshadowing that we're going to be digging into.
It's not a cliffhanger, we promise.
Ooh, it will be here. And look, so let's get up in the helicopter a little bit. Broadly speaking as well, it ranges across all home good categories as we've already talked about. So some examples that are really worth mentioning are like Jysk, so Gysk. You may have one of those in your backyards as well. So they sell things like bedding, but they're also expanding as well. Ilva, who specialize in things like furniture, and then there's companies like Americo with their kitchenware, and then Kid, so KID, Interior, based out of Norway, who's a home textile icon and retailer. So all of this is to say that it's hardly, this is what a lot of people think, that it's hardly just fashion and beauty that do well in live shopping. It's also these more homely and practical product categories that people just like to shop digitally now. That's just the way it is. And live shopping is a direct reflection of that trend.
Yeah, well said.
Yes,
now,
thank you.
Now, putting that into context, how would you say that they achieve that specifically in live shopping? So what is it specifically that they employ as the strategies, you think, that translates so well from these homely practical goods to the live format?
Yeah, so I think the key word there is it's all about the strategy. It's all about the strat, as we say. But no, it's a great question. Love that question. So as we all know, this does not sell itself, right? No. But as with any channel, you need to know your audience and what works for them. Also, you have to know how to sell this product as well. It's like, what is this? What am I actually trying to sell?
You need a really great hand model, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I am not, so you will not be buying this. The products don't sell themselves. Every product has a story that needs to be told. So in the case of home goods, what we've seen works really well for our customers is combining expert design tips with practical showcases. So I'm an expert, I know a lot about this, I'm going to show you practical showcases. Like, this is pretty simple. What can you put in it? Oh, it has a handle.
You won't burn your hands.
You can carry it with you. It says work, which is what we're doing right now. It's brilliant. All right, before this gets too far off the rails, let's
Okay,
reel this thing
yeah,
back
yeah.
in. All right, you can. So really, what it boils down to is, yeah. Let's rehash that. So
Demonstration.
yeah, I said.
showing.
What did I say? I said combine the expert tips with practical showcases. That's it. The marrying those two things together. By doing that, you can increase the relevancy of your live show, and you can do things like featuring seasonal collections, demonstrating functionality. I'm looking at my notes here. Yeah. And very importantly, and this is what we have to remember because it's not just about sales. Yes, sales, bottom line, incredibly important. It's what we talk a lot about here. It's equally important to think about fostering that community of customers that are incredibly and truly and genuinely excited about your products. Because here's the thing, building and sustaining brand loyalty is incredibly difficult in the e-commerce landscape that we have today. With fickle customers always looking for the cheapest product, it's important.
Yeah, so differentiating yourself, no?
Absolutely, but also making sure that you have a genuine interest in others and serving them with products and services that are actually going to generate value and happiness in their lives. But anyway, this is just a brisk overview.
Yeah.
So, because the badass customer we're talking to today is also going to shed some light on the strategies that they've implemented to achieve all the things that we've hopefully to some degree of success have tried to share with you.
Very much so. I think they perfectly encapsulate what we're talking about. Because, I recently had the great pleasure of talking to Gide Silius, who is a creative shop manager at Søstrene Grene, and she's one of the key persons in their whole live shopping operations. And she had some fantastic insights to share about just some of the thoughts and considerations that went into Søstrene Grene's approach to e-commerce and the live format. So, I without further ado, I think we'll tune over now and hear what she had to say.
Yay!
Hello and welcome, Gide. Thank you so much for coming on today to talk to us about live shopping and how Søstrene Grene has really roared through this medium, in my own humble opinion. So it's great to have you.
It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course, and we're super excited to be talking to you today because we want to dig into Søstrene Grene and all the great things you're doing in live shopping and how you've really managed to make this medium your own. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you, Gide, is, so you obviously have a really strong presence in your stores around the world, but you also have a strong digital strategy for how you're selling products to customers. So how has this led you to adopt live shopping, and how does it fit into the overall strategy for Søstrene Grene? I'm curious to hear.
Yeah, well, as you said yourself, we have a strong presence on digital media. So for us, using live shopping was sort of a natural extension of what we were already doing. And live shopping is actually also offering us a unique opportunity to connect with our community in a more, personal and present manner. We're offering them a live feed where they can ask us questions about the products, about our brand. And what we actually see as well is that they help each other through this live comment track that we've got on our live shopping. So for us, it was actually a matter of trying to extend the connection we have with our community, strengthen what we already have, and extend it to become stronger across markets. Yeah.
And you're responsible for not only the operational side, but you're also in front of the camera quite often.
I am, sometimes. Well, it was, I always like to try new things out. And naturally, this was something that I just had to try as well. And I think it's actually giving me a great, view into what it's like being in front of the camera as well, because we're constantly maximizing our efforts a little bit. And I'm actually not so much in front of the camera going forward. But having been there is the best way to know what kind of feedback the hosts need and how to sort of, move forward with the live shopping format. So it has been really fun to try, obviously. But it's also, the first times it was very nerve-wracking because
Yeah.
we had no idea standing in front of the camera how many viewers we'd have, how many comments we'd get, and if we'd actually sell anything. So now I'm standing behind the camera and I'm actually trying to constantly during the live show give the hosts a bit of hints towards how we're doing. So yeah, it's been really a great opportunity to take this to the next level. Yeah.
Awesome. And I think in hindsight, you guys didn't need to worry at all about the results
No.
because we've seen some of your shows and they've done so well. So I'm really curious also to hear, like, from the commercial side of things, what are some of the results that live shopping has brought to Søstrene Grene, and whether that's in terms of your sales or engagement and just customer acquisition in general? How are they performing for you?
Well, actually, I think what surprised us the most from the get-go, like you just said, we didn't have to worry about the performance of our live shopping events, but we didn't know that from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I think what blew us away the most was the high volume of engagement on our live shopping shows. Not only measured, in comments and views, but actually in matter of time spent with our brand. We have an average watch time of more than 10 minutes, which may not sound like a lot, but if you compare it to, paid advertising, getting 10 minutes of view time with your community, that's really hard. That's really expensive. So this has been really valuable to us, and one of the things that actually surprised us and impressed us the most, how much time we actually get with the community once we've got them on board our live shows. Yeah,
that's super valuable. And
yeah.
one standout moment, I think, that also made headlines was that you once sold over 20,000 products in 1 hour of going live.
Yeah.
Like, how did you manage that? Just from, like, that blows my mind. So I'm just a bit
Yeah.
curious about what went into that.
Well, that particular event was crazy. And that particular event, I was in front of the camera, so I had no idea. We had no idea how crazy it was going. So I think everybody was sort of mind blown afterwards.
Yeah.
But when the live show was going, it was just smooth sailing. We were showing products and presenting our watchers with our viewers. I'm sorry. With these shop codes, and we had no idea it was exploding like that.
That's
So
all.
hand to heart, I'm not really sure what happened. But it was amazing. It really was, and it really made us want to move forward with even more live shows because we actually saw the potential of live shopping.
Definitely. Yeah. Awesome. So now, I noticed one thing is that you often have your live shows from a warehouse environment, so you can really show your broad assortment of products. Now, with Søstrene Grene, you sell all sorts of homeware products from there's such a wide range of things.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about what products, if there has been such a category that really does well in the live format. I'm curious if you've experienced one particular category of products that sells really well and what your experience has been.
Yeah. Well, actually, now you said that we often do it from the warehouse, but we actually have two main locations. So we have our warehouse where we do a warehouse sale, and then we actually have our stores. We're always working very hard to connect the on and offline part of our business. So we use the stores as a setting for our live shopping events as well to make that strong brand-wise connection between our online business and our offline business. But I think for us, it hasn't really been like one specific product or one specific product category, but more a matter of actually these two concepts. So we have our biannual warehouse sale where we move to the warehouse and line up the products in a more, a rough manner. So it looks and feels like we are in a warehouse.
Yeah.
And we really have great traction on these, and we use them to clear locations at our e-com warehouse. But we also have 3 annual main collections that are both online and in our stores. And what we've seen work really well for us is to offer our community an exclusive pre-access sale to these main collections. This means that our community actually gets access to buying these products the night before the collection launches in stores and online. And what it actually also does for us is it helps us build up a hype for the products, so we get a better launch on the launch day as well. This is naturally in combination with a lot of other initiatives we've got going at the same time, but we've really seen our community connect with this exclusive feel of getting the pre-access to these collection products. Yeah.
Right. That's really good. So it's that additional incentive to join the live, because you're really getting a sneak peek before anyone else has access to them in the stores, right? That's really good. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why you're able to drive so much traffic to your live shows as well. That really makes a lot of sense. Now, here at Spree, we try and facilitate live shopping at scale, because, you know, when you get as much volume as you guys do, I imagine that can be a lot of things to manage. So I wanted to ask you, how has your experience been using Spree to power some of your live shows, and has it helped you from the operational side of things to scale your efforts?
It definitely has. Spree has been an important part of our setup from the very beginning. And what's been really nice for us is that Spree has this very user-friendly interface, so it has been very easy for us to implement it and use it across platforms and across channels and markets. So by using Spree, it's actually a very seamless setup, so it doesn't really matter if we're going live on one platform versus the other and how many markets we want to go live on. Everything is just handled internally in Spree, and it's really easy for us to work with. So Spree is an essential part of our live shopping setup, definitely. Yeah.
Great to hear, and I'm glad to hear that there's such a seamless match between how live shopping can be facilitated through this software and also what your ambitions are. So it's really great to hear that. Just lastly, I wanted to ask you if there's anything you had to point out now that you've been doing live shopping for a while. What are some of the greatest hurdles that you've had to overcome in your experience?
Well, we've had quite a few bumps on the road. Firstly, it's been really hard for us to actually implement live shopping across markets, because live shopping is really big in Denmark, but across markets, it varies how familiar they are with this format. Last week, as example, we went live on Instagram, and for us, our Instagram is a global setup. So we actually pretty quickly learned that we had to be more explanatory in how the live shopping works. How do you actually buy the products? And these learnings, they come along the road, because we don't know them beforehand. We're always trying new things, and it was new for us to go live on Instagram, and we got a lot of learnings, but we actually had to push small notes to the hosts to make them aware that you have to repeat this again. And then we got a really good traction in the end, and got a good flow, and you know, stuff like that, small things that we learn that are market specific. And also there's always the element of making sure that when someone places an order in Spree, they have to actually they have to complete the order on our website. So we have to take measurements to ensure that we don't oversell products, because there is a gap between Spree and the website. And luckily we've got that under control now as well, but we had to learn that in the beginning, because it's obviously not a great experience for customers if we oversell products. So you know, I think it's a learning process where you have to overview the entire process from going live to actually getting the sale through your website. And it has been great learnings for us, but you know, it's small things that we just learn along the road. Yeah,
I really appreciate your insights there, and lighting some of the growing pains sometimes when you're experimenting with something new, right? It doesn't always pan out perfectly, but what we can then draw from your experiences that consistency and also having that that approach of wanting to solve these issues and move further really does pay dividends in the end. So I'm really glad to hear that honest perspective from you. That's really
Absolutely.
really cool.
And actually, what we also see is that when we have small issues or viewers who are confused as to what they're meant to do or how it works, we actually see the viewers help each other out as well. So they literally are small bumps because people are so good at helping each other out. And I think that's one of the unique connections that you get to make, because I think they feel a connection to the host standing in front of the camera, so they want to help. And especially when we go live on other markets, we always have this disclaimer in the beginning saying this is not our native language, so please excuse us if we start babbling. And they're always so kind to say you're doing great and correcting us if we're not pronouncing things the right way. And there's this very unique scene when we're live, because we just have a lot of positivity in the comments, even when things go wrong, even when the viewers don't know what to do. There's still just this positive way of communicating with each other. Yeah.
All right, Gita, that was really what we were interested in hearing from you. I'm so glad that we could get around to kind of get an insight into how it's been from your side, and also some of your personal experiences hosting live shows for Søstrene Grene. So I think we got a lot to extract from this conversation. So I'm really glad we had this chance to talk. So I just want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
All right. Welcome back. As always, pleasure hearing from Gita. She's and Søstrene Grene have really understood live shopping, I think, and treating it as a channel to really engage their customers. And as we kind of talked about before, building those long-lasting relationships and community through it. So that's kind of what I took away from most of your conversation with her, gents. Just how important it is for companies like them to build on the brand identity that they have and provide an experience for their customers to not only drive sales, but actually cement loyalty for them, from them, with them. And so that, for me, that not only has short-term, but long-term gain. So and that's another thing to remember as well. This isn't the sprint. This is the marathon. Yeah,
and I think having that marathon mentality is what's going to make your business sustainable, especially in this digital age. As you said, it's like significantly important to differentiate yourself and also build a relationship with your customers. When you don't have that in-person relationship that we used to, or at least to a lesser extent than we used
and I really like the stuff she was talking about in terms of their strategy as well. I was really impressed with that. About their strategy, about their intention, but also the level of preparedness that comes with that. Because, look, I think I've said this before, if you fail to prepare, then you should be prepared to fail, right? So that, that really stuck with me. And I think that's also why they've succeeded, and they've been able to capture 130,000 views, sell 20,000 products on just one single live show. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I was really shocked by that as well. When you really think about how you're able to garner that much interest in not just your products, but again, the brand that you are representing. People flock to that because you're providing an experience, right? So I think that's what they've managed to do superbly well. And I think that's in large part due to them understanding their audience. What is it that they want? How do they cater to them? And I think they implemented a plan that actually really brings all of that into play.
Yeah, and let's not forget the fact that they do work closely with somebody we also work closely with. There's a company called Let's Go Live who also helps them with the production. But not only that, also helps them with the strategy, the strat part.
The strat part.
We have to tip our hat to the folks at Let's Go Live. They're actually absolutely brilliant at that.
Legends.
So, Jens, I really couldn't agree more with your point. I think they've proven what a strong brand and proper customer engagement strategy can really do when it comes to live shopping. And look, I'm just excited to see what they can cook up for the future.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Definitely, me too.
Yeah. And here's the thing. For all of you home goods brands or retailers that are out there right now watching this, you might be wondering, hey, I wonder how live shopping could work for my business. If you're asking yourself that right now, we at Spree, we would absolutely love to be able to discuss it with you in detail and answer all of your questions because, look, we've been doing this for quite a few years.
Yeah.
We've held tons of live shopping events. We've helped companies sell millions of products and generate hundreds of millions of euro in revenue. So we do have the expertise to tailor a strategy that's going to benefit your particular audience. And I really think that's what sets us apart. We're not just a tech company. We're not just a platform. We're able to leverage the expertise and insights to help you, to help set you up for success.
Yeah, and I think that's especially important with the topic that we've been discussing today with home goods, because it covers a wide spectrum of companies. So
very much so.
You could be perhaps not too sure if, will my products in particular sell well in live shopping, because I might be a niche seller of, I don't know, fishing rods or whatever, right? But here's the thing, and what this whole webinar was about is to contextualize that we've seen the blueprint and we've helped build that blueprint to the point where almost any product category within home goods can find success, and we've seen it. So,
yeah, and look, if you're on the fence and you're like, I'm not really sure, then we have tons of really cool tools that are on the website where you can do tests to figure out what your live shopping readiness is. So go to spree.io right now. It's on the front page.
Link in the chat.
Yeah, take the test. It takes like 2 minutes. There's also revenue calculators, so you can go ahead and put in some of your numbers and see what your potential revenue could be. You can also, you want to talk about how they can get in touch with us as well?
Yeah, the easiest way that you guys can get in touch with someone here at Spree to get these conversations going, and we'll assess your whole situation and bring you into this world of live shopping in the best means possible. So you can connect with us at spree.io and book your first discovery call today.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it.
Yeah. So we're about to wrap up. And I want you guys to always have the resources handy in the chat, so we'll make sure that those are there. You can click on those, get all the additional information that Corey mentioned earlier, and then we just look forward to connecting with you again. And you'll also receive an email with a recording of the webinar and additional resources that we want you guys to have.
Yeah, I don't know if we mentioned this, but there's a really good in-depth customer story with Søstrene Grene on the Spree website, alongside tons of other good customer stories as well. So feel free to check that out. But hey, thanks for watching, folks, and we hope you learned something. We loved being here,
as
and
always.
We can't wait to see you till next time. So until then, take care and have a great day.
Ciao.
Thanks, guys.